Holy shit, 25 superhero projects in development that aren't part of the MCU or DCEU. Are you kidding me? Over the past decade, superhero movies have become wildly more popular at the box office. Hell yeah, they have. Heavily due to the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man in 2008. Boy, I remember it like it was yesterday. I really do, man. I was a 12, 13-year-old kid, excited like a motherfucker to see this. And the eventual release of the Avengers in 2012, which arguably revolutionized the entire movie industry. Today, the superhero genre is dominated by both the MCU, which released both 3 new movies every year, and the DC Extended Universe, end quote, which is not as critically successful as the Marvel movies, but still picks up a lot of attention due to the inclusion of Batman and Superman, among other hugely iconic heroes. Even though these 2 massive franchises are seemingly stealing the spotlight in the superhero movie industry, there are still a number of other superhero movies coming out in the next few years that won't be part of the MCU or DCEU. Shockingly, there are even a plethora of these movies currently in development that likely won't see the light of day for quite some time. While a number of these movies are coming from other companies that own various Marvel properties such as Sony and 21st Century Fox, a few other projects in development are based on completely different comic entities that don't originate in Marvel or DC Comics. Additionally, there are even a number of superhero TV series currently in development that have no connection to either of the primary 2 superhero movie franchises. With that said, here are the 25 superhero projects in development that aren't part of the MCU or DCEU. Silver and Black. This is a Spider-Man spin-off, quote, that Sony Pictures have been working on for a while. Originally to be a spin-off of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, this anti-hero / villain-led movie will star the characters Black Cat and Silver Sable. While the movie was slated for release in early 2019, it has once again been pushed back indefinitely, leaving fans in the dark as to whether or not this spin-off will ever come to be. The original rumors for Silver and Black claimed that the beloved comic book villain Kraven the Hunter would be in the movie, leaving fans who were excited to see Kraven on screen disappointed with the delay. Watchmen. Now, I loved Watchmen all the way, believe it or not. One of the most secretive DC projects currently in development is Watchmen, which is said to be a grittier superhero series released on HBO. Okay, I mean, that's dope. While it was originally thought to be released later this year, it now looks like it may not hit the HBO until 2019 or even 2020. Watchmen is currently being helmed by Damon Lindelof, who previously helmed the other hit HBO series The Leftovers, which ended in 2017. If the HBO's Watchmen series is even half as good as The Leftovers, then DC fans are surely in for a treat. Damn right. X-Force. Following Deadpool 2, the next installment in Deadpool's side of the X-Force franchise is slated to be X-Force. Actors Ryan Reynolds, Josh Brolin, and Zazie Beetz, who previously played Deadpool, Cable, and Domino in the Deadpool 2, are slated to return for the ensemble sequel. If the movie is anything like the comics, it will feature Cable leading his own team of mutant heroes in order to stop the post-apocalyptic future from which he came. There you go. The ending of Deadpool is certainly added to this theory. Based on the success of both Deadpool movies, it's safe to say that this spinoff is high on Fox's to-do list. Glass. In early 2017, director M. Night Shyamalan surprised the audiences with his latest film, Split, ended up being connected directly to his earlier superhero movie, Unbreakable. Due to the great response to this twist, Shyamalan, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I can't get it out. Soon announced Glass, which is a crossover between both films. Glass is actually further along than any other project on this list, having already wrapped production with its release scheduled for January of next year. And I'll be in LA then around that time, I hope. Despite this, most all the details of Glass have been kept under wraps, leaving fans in the dark as to what to expect. Number 21, Todd Phillips' Joker Origins movie. Thank goodness. DC, in one of its most shocking announcements, the Hangover director Todd Phillips was revealed to be helming a Joker origin movie that will be separate from the DCEU. Because of this, Jared Leto, whose portrayal of Joker was met with many negative responses, will not be starring in this movie, and the part was instead given to Joaquin Phoenix. Now, I actually already did a video about this, so you can guys go ahead and check it on YouTube. It should be uploaded by now. I did a really good take on it. but many of the details on this project are kept under wraps, leaving a number of DC fans in the dark as to what to expect from the origin movie. Shockingly, this movie was revealed to be completely separate from the other Joker solo film movie that was recently announced, which will star Jared Leto. Number 20, Morbius the Living Vampire. Never heard of you guy. Another Marvel movie coming from Sony as part of their expanded Spider-Man universe is Morbius the Living Vampire. Like Silver and Black, many fans are worried that Morbius may never see the light of day. Well, man, that is punny. Considering that this movie has seen to have little progress since it was first announced. In the comics, Morbius started as a normal man who tried to cure himself of a blood disease, but inadvertently ended up by infecting himself with vampirism. Since then, he has become one of the darkest characters in Marvel Comics that a number of fans seems to love. A harbinger, just like the glove. In 2015, Sony Pictures signed a 5-picture deal with Valiant Comics to produce a few movies based on their comic book superheroes. One of these superheroes that they are bringing to the big screen is Harbinger. The movie is predicted to be the second release in Sony's Valiant series. In the comics, the mantle of Harbinger was passed down between a number of different characters. For the majority of the iterations of the superhero, Harbinger had incredible psionic powers, which is generally something we need to see more of in the superhero genre. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that word. Metropolis. One of DC's most successful TV series in recent years has been Gotham, which tells the stories of the residents of Gotham City before the rise of Batman. Superman recently received a similar title show, Krypton, but at the beginning of the year, DC announced a second Superman origin series that will give even more like Gotham, titled Metropolis. Metropolis will tell the stories of Lois Lane as a journalist and Lex Luthor as an inspiring villain before Superman came into the picture. It's expected to release next year on DC's streaming service. Kitty Pryde. Okay, I think this will be pretty good. One member of the X-Men who has received little development in any of the movies, despite being incredibly interesting in the comic, is Kitty Pryde / Shadowcat. Fortunately, Deadpool director Tim Miller is currently developing a Kitty Pryde solo movie with 21st Century Fox. In the comics, Kitty Pryde has had a number of unique abilities that the movies have done a poor job at explaining. Hopefully, this movie will better define Kitty's abilities, in addition to introducing her pet dragon companion, Lockheed. Perhaps if the DC Fox deal goes through, we could see Kitty join the Guardians of the Galaxy like she did in the comics. That'd be pretty damn dope. Bloodshot. The first movie slated for Sony's series of movies based on Valiant Comics will be Bloodshot, which follows the struggles of a slain mobster who was brought back to life and granted superhuman abilities. This movie was predicted to set up the rest of the movies in the Valiant cinematic universe. Bloodshot will be the directorial debut of Dave Wilson, who previously worked as a visual effects artist on movies like The Avengers: Age of Ultron, in addition to a few games including Star Wars: The Old Republic and The Elder Scrolls Online. Number 15, Kick-Ass. I actually like the series. As part of the expansion of his production, Marv Studios, director Matthew Vaughn has announced that Kick-Ass franchises will be receiving a new reboot. Vaughn is anxious to get things right this time around after the disappointment of Kick-Ass 2. According to Vaughn, the new Kick-Ass movie will follow the other version of Kick-Ass, Patience Lee, who was a single African-American mother. Thor Ragnarok actress Tessa Thompson has previously expressed interest in playing this character, so it would be great to see her as the new Kick-Ass star. Yeah, that's true. Deadpool 3. Even though it looks like the Deadpool franchise is continuing forward only with the X-Force, the third Deadpool solo movie is still slated as its own release, separate from X-Force. It looks like after Wade Wilson helps Cable protect the future, he may be going back to his old comedic ways. Unfortunately, after the release of Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds expressed worry about the future of this threequel. Though it looks like the movie will still happen based on the success of the previous movies in the series, it may be sometime before we ever see Deadpool come back into another solo adventure. I mean, it makes sense. Doom Patrol. In DC Comics, the Doom Patrol was a team of outcast superheroes with rather unique abilities. While the superhero team was mildly popular in the series, they did not match the fame of Marvel's X-Men, who were inspired by, and I put quotations around that, inspired by the Doom Patrol. At long last, the Doom Patrol are getting their own TV series on the DC Universe streaming service. Doom Patrol is set to take place in the same timeline as Titans, the live-action Teen Titans series that releases this fall. All in all, it will be nice to finally see this super team on screen, even if it's not the big screen. Shadow Man. The third film in the Valiant Comics movies, coming from Sony Pictures, is set to be around the Shadow Man, the more cryptic superhero from Valiant's collection. In the comics, Shadow Man was a former jazz musician possessed by an ancient evil spirit that gave him voodoo and other impressive spiritual abilities. The Shadow Man movie is set to be directed by Reginald Hudlin, who has been extensively background in directing, having worked as a director on over 30 different TV shows since the 1990s. He has also produced a few films, including Django Unchained. Alright, that's cool. Number 11, Gambit. It's about damn time. I've been hearing about this damn shit for over years. Now, the Gambit movie starring Channing Tatum has been stuck in development for almost half a decade at 21st Century Fox. The script has allegedly gone through a number of drafts over the years, but no matter how close the spinoff comes into actuality, there always seems to be something keeping it from taking off. Gambit is an X-Men character that Marvel fans have wanted to see on screen for years. Though the character did play a brief role in X-Men Origins, Wolverine, like Deadpool, it was not the version of the character fans wanted to see, leaving a number of people anxious for this rebooted solo film. I know I definitely did, that's for damn sure. Hellboy. Like Glass, this one project that is further along than most of the other movies or shows on this list, considering its release in January. The reboot of the demonic superhero is said to be better than the previous Hellboy movies, which at times felt a bit too crampy for fans of the comics. The reboot is set to star Stranger Things actor David Harbour, who looks perfect for the role based on the single image that has been released so far. It is being directed by Neil Marshall, who has directed a number of horror movies over the years, in addition to directing episodes of Game of Thrones and Westworld. Number 9, Ronin. This is even more of a cool character. These other guys are pretty good. Comic book writer Frank Miller has told a number of unique stories over the years that have been adapted into live action, and it seems the next Frank Miller comic to get the live action treatment is Ronin. Ronin is currently being set up as a miniseries to premiere on Sci-Fi. It is reported to be just like the comics, following a Japanese samurai who wakes up in modern time in order to defeat the demon he was sent to defeat centuries ago. Based on the positive reception of Samurai Jack's return, it is safe to say that Ronin may do rather well. Number 8, Night Watch. Another Marvel movie currently being planned by Sony Pictures is Night Watch, which follows a modern-day scientist who is given a robotic battle suit from himself from the future. The Night Watch comics have been very interesting over the years, so it's exciting to see that he is getting his own movie in the upcoming years. Possibly the most exciting part about Night Watch is that it will be directed by legendary director Spike Lee. All in all, this movie in the Spider-Man universe may have been a better chance of seeing the light of day than any other Spider-Man movie in development. Number 7, X-23. Now I've been hearing about this over the years. After the huge hit that was last year's Logan, a number of Marvel fans are excited to know that there will be more coming from this side of the X-Men universe. While the next movie won't star Logan / Wolverine, considering his demise at the end of the movie, this spinoff instead will see his daughter, Laura, aka X-23. The movie is currently being helmed by James Mangold, who previously directed Logan and the Wolverine. However, it may be some time before we see the movie make its way out of development because Mangold was recently hired on the helm of the Boba Fett movie at Lucasfilm, which is moving forward a lot quicker. 6, Spawn. Now, I definitely heard about some news about this recently. It said something about Jamie Foxx actually reprising the role. Arguably the most famous superhero character outside the movie or DC is Spawn, who is a horrific supernatural anti-hero from Image Comics. Spawn is currently slated to release in theaters sometime next year and is set to star Jamie Foxx in the lead role. One of the most interesting parts about the movie is that it's being directed by Todd McFarlane, who was the creator of the Spawn comics. While it's unusual for a comic book writer to become a movie director, he is sure to get the visuals and the narratives right, possibly making Spawn one of the most accurate superhero movies we will ever see. Thank goodness. Alpha Flight or The Exiles. Among the number of Marvel movies currently in development at 20th Century Fox, it's a superhero ensemble movie that is either going to be Alpha Flight or The Exiles. I think The Exiles would be pretty cool. Over the years, Fox have seemingly jumped back and forth between which team this movie will star. which makes sense considering that both teams are relatively similar in the comics. In the comics, both teams are made up of primarily of C-list heroes, many of whom were formerly connected to the X-Men. The Exiles is essentially the only team to have a truly notable character, which is Beast. If the movie does end up being about the Exiles, it would be nice to see Beast show up at some point. Internal Warrior, number 4. Another comic book movie from Sony Pictures based on Valiant Comics will be Internal Warrior, which will tell the story of an immortal warrior who never stops fighting to protect the planet from enemies both from Earth and from other places. Essentially, he's a bit like Thor, if Thor was from Earth. Shockingly, Guardians of the Galaxy actor Dave Bautista has expressed interest in starring in this movie. Bautista may be a great fit for this role, as he has currently proven over the years that he can play a warrior type character. Yeah, that's definitely true. Multiple Man, number 3. Another Marvel movie coming from 20th Century Fox is Multiple Man, which, as the title suggests, will star the superhero Multiple Man who has the ability to duplicate himself. While this seems like a bit absurd type of superhero, considering both his name and superpower, Fox has seemed to take a note out of Ant-Man's book by casting a comedy actor in the lead role. James Franco has seemingly been confirmed to star in Multiple Man, which will certainly add a lot of comedic elements to the mix. All in all, this movie is a dream come true from people who have wanted to see 10 or more James Francos on screen at once. Swamp Thing. Now, I've heard about this too. I think this will be on the DC streaming service, sometime next year. One of the most surprising TV series announced for the DC Universe streaming service is Swamp Thing, which will follow the Swamp Monster from DC Comics. Swamp Thing previously starred in his own movie in 1982, another movie in 1989, and even had a TV series that premiered in 1990 and lasted 3 seasons. Hopefully, this new Swamp Thing series will be a lot less B-movie than the previous live-action iterations of the character, and will end up being a lot more like the Swamp Thing in the comics. Number 1, Doctor Doom. Bitch-ass nigga. Finally, we have one of the most exciting Marvel movies announced by 20th Century Fox, Doctor Doom. In the comics, Doctor Doom was one of the greatest villains in Marvel Comics. Considering that both previous live-action iterations have been widely disappointing, fans are hopeful that this third attempt will be a lot more accurate and intimidating. I think the first one was pretty damn good. I thought the guy did pretty well. Screenwriter Noah Hawley has described Doctor Doom as a political thriller rather than a standard superhero movie, which will certainly be an interesting twist. Hopefully, this movie does not meet the cutting room floor if the Disney Fox deal goes through. That's all I got for you guys for this. Your Worship Speaks. Make sure you guys pound the like button, hit that bell notification so that way you guys can be notified about when my new content hits, and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. This is your voice speaks. I love you guys. God bless.